Right, so we're back answering your questions. Just me and Roger today. Foxy has a real job, the lucky bastard. And Andy Ryan couldn't make it today. It was the Andy Ryan show. He was on Fine Fettle the other day. I'll go start with the questions that we got vis-a-vis. Vis-a-vis is a term that means just about.
Oh, okay. Thanks for that.
And about Andy's performance, particularly as it pertains to Roger from the last day. Here's our number of questions that I got in. Can you get Andy to do the wrist lock on Dardis, but from the other side?
Does Andy Brennan, you fucker.
Does Andy have a wrist lock from side control? And does it work on Roger? Where's we go? Next one. Were you invited to Foxy's naturist wedding? Is it true the cake was made from hummus?
Hummus and avocado, that's an urban legend in our gym. Foxy's naturist nude wedding.
Do any of you know how to do a cartwheel? You can feck off, Grant, with your questions.
See Andy Ryan doing a cartwheel?
He fucking flies. He's a very agile man.
Fucking sure.
There's lots and lots about your wrist lock. I like this one. And ask Andy to please show a wrist lock from the back, from mount or the back, and make sure it's on Roger. Seems to be a common theme, I would have said.
I actually love a very nice wrist lock from the back.
Maybe you could show it later. When Andy comes around.
I'm not doing that
here later. Okay, so we're answering questions. We've got a couple of fun ones and a couple of more serious ones. So the first is, what's your favourite martial arts film? After Roadhouse, of course.
I don't have a martial arts film.
You don't?
Oh.
No. It's a quality.
Answer one and I'll think about it.
Well, I don't have like I used to watch them all when I was a kid, like Bruce Lee movies and stuff like that. But I don't have a favourite one. But then I was thinking about it in the car on the way up because I got this question and I broadsided you with it. You see, but I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about Grosse Point Blank. Do you ever watch Grosse Point Blank? John Cusack. And they fight in the corridor. No. Benny the Jet. You know who Benny the Jet was?
No, I heard of Benny the Jet, kickboxer.
Yeah. So he's fighting him in the car. It's good. But it's about 10 minutes, but
somebody old asked that question.
Who's 87? Collie 87. Well, he was born in 1987.
Collie.
There you go.
Yeah, it's an old people question.
All right, okay. It's an old man question.
Let me ask a question.
Go on, you go for it.
Here's one. Best music to roll to, besides rap ballads.
Rap ballads.
Well, what do you listen to in the gym when you're training?
It's all my music. We did a collaborative playlist before. Yeah. And it was the worst shite I've ever heard in my life. It turns out you might think that you're going to grab and pull in all of the best music from everybody's taste, but actually you're going to pull in the worst. You're going to it's terrible. No, what I listen to is I'm very varied. Anyway, I have a very varied musical taste. I like to think it could be anybody from Shaka Khan right through to Metallica, right back around to movie soundtracks and stuff like that. Random stuff. Yeah. So we don't.
I'm going to pull up the playlist, the gym playlist.
I bet it'll all be Tool.
No, there's a bit of Tool. I like Tool. If it was up to me, I'd play Tool, but you have to keep the masses happy.
Sometimes I walk by the gym, like walking up the stairs from the gym that we have downstairs, and I listen to I listen to that and I go, Jesus Christ, is there anything more demotivational than listening to shite music as you train? But
here we go. Here's some of my ones: Tool, Bob Dylan, Tin Lizzy, Dire Straits, The Ramones, The Pogues. No Ram music, yeah.
But getting there,
you can hear
I like this fella tilting towards it.
Here's a fella for everybody to check out. Nathaniel Ratcliffe. Do you know him?
Yeah.
He's savage.
Yeah, the
new music, young people music.
Young people.
Fleetwood Mac, that's what you need. A bit of Fleetwood Mac, Led Zeppelin, of course.
What have we got here? Danny Brown, John Hopkins, Hans Zimmer, Smashing Pumpkins, Sylvan Esso, I Monster, Queens of the Stone Age, Arctic Monkeys. It's very, very broad, very general. It's all very good.
A lot of 70s soul music, James Brown.
You can't beat a bit of James Brown. Can't beat a bit of soul music. Can we get a TikTok highlight reel? No, you can sod off. Any of you know the cartwheel? Sorry, I read that before. Who was the first black belt in Ireland? It was John Kavanagh. I know that you're trying to say something very controversial there when you're asking that question, like I'm going to answer something else. But there was a couple of foreigners in before that, of course. But first black belt in Ireland, first Irish black belt, is John Kavanagh. More stuff about Foxy's naturist wedding. Sorry, it goes on like that. How long do you have to train before you can skip the warm up and do your own stretches? I presume that means people coming in and skipping the warm ups from, when they get more advanced. That is
never
skip the warm up. Always come in and never believe you're too good for the warm-up either. A lot of times people start to arrive later and later as we go. In my gym, we used to do various things when people turned up late, and one of them was that you had to hold the clock. So I tried to exercise, but nobody did them. So you just said, 20 burpees now if you're late, for every minute you're late. But then lads would be coming up and they'd be going, I came here from work, like I'm here as quick as I can. So I used to take the clock down from the wall, and whoever was the latest had to hold the clock for the warm-up. So even when they were doing their rolls and their tumbles, then I went through about 3 clocks, and I went to, after lads were bashing clocks off the ground. But no, nobody really shows up late. People always do the warm-up in my club anyway. A few of the...
Not true in my
ones. No.
Fuckers are always
You
late.
need to be...
Yeah, but look, people are coming from work. Some people are.
I understand that, yeah. But equally, it's fun to punish people. It's part of the fun of being a coach. I want to ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Right. It's about your jiu-jitsu upbringing, as it were, and where you started out and all. So I know the story, I know the crack, but the people watching don't know the crack. So you started in the US?
I'm one of the few people, I started in New York in an MMA gym with Rowan Athletics, Christian Montes. He's an American black belt. Nicest man you'd ever meet. Really good jiu-jitsu. I was there for, I think, about 4 years, maybe 5 years, I can't remember. And the plan was I was going home from America. I was coming back to Ireland, and I needed 6 months of training because I couldn't train in the evenings. I had a baby, and he told me to go to Marcelo's, and then I ended up staying at Marcelo's for 3 years. Then I didn't go home. That was it, yeah.
And what's like, obviously, right, there's a huge difference between training in, what would you say, a regular black belt's gym versus training with Marcelo?
Yes.
But what was the biggest difference? Like on day one when you walked in, did you know? You're in a different spot, like.
Yeah, I think on my first day I actually got to train with Marcelo because there was probably 10 people on the mats. So the gym was new. So that straight away is going to, even though I probably didn't realise at the time how lucky I was, that sort of way.
Yeah. Probably didn't realise till you came home.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the level, like I was a purple belt and I went in and I remember going in and the class was only an hour. And I was like, it's only an hour? And she said, yeah, look, come back to me at the end of class and tell me how you got on. So it was a 50-minute warm-up, 50 minutes technique, and only half an hour rolling. But I was fucked.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be like a purple belt.
Yeah.
I got killed by everybody, I think.
Different level.
Yeah, just different level, different pace, different intensity. Like everybody there was a good competitor, and yeah, it's just different level.
And was there one thing I remember you saying to me before that you noticed when you came to Ireland, it was the acceptance of positions was the big thing that changed. So like to explain that, like Roger myself trying to get quite a bit, and one of the things that even when I started training with you was like this guy doesn't go away, like even if I did sweep you,
that was it,
which was very rare, I would be like, this is a harder fight than being in guards. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to make the sweep stick.
Yeah.
And I think you were saying before that was one of the biggest things that you took away from that level of gym.
Yeah, but I was probably just had that without even realising. But if you sweep somebody, when I came home first, just people accepting the sweep, like so, just a basic hook sweep. Once their ass hits the mat, that was in their mind they were swept. Whereas, when I came home, I was much better than I am now, I think. But when I came home, you sweep, you get swept. The hard work is to come, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The hard work is to keep the fucker down and to keep him on his back and get on top. Whereas when I got swept, it's straight back up. Instead of just accepting the position and accepting the bottom position.
I think the first time I learned that was my story is completely different to that. I didn't have a high level instructor for a long time. So I started with SPG. There was afternoon classes. Yeah. It was the only place with afternoon classes. One of the only places doing jiu-jitsu. Never mind anything else. And it was taekwondo black belt. And then after that, I trained with Andy, and Andy was my coach, and Andy was probably purple belt at the time. And it's very, as you noticed from the last episode, Andy was he's been a bit modest, I suppose. Like he was a very high level judo athlete, bordering on an Olympian, and I think he was unbeaten for something like 8 years or something like that, consistently in Ireland. So across Ireland, never beaten him something like 6, 7 or 8 years, something like that. And when I went up there, there was a big change there, and I have to say I learned a lot training with Andy in terms of standards and what you expect from yourself and from others as well. Yeah. So he wouldn't take laziness. You couldn't have a bad night, you know that kind of way. If you had a bad night, it wasn't bad, but if you couldn't have a lazy night where you just came in and just dossed around, you know, it wasn't something you could do. But then we went off and I was basically training on my own then. I was training with my own students for a while. Admar Barbosa came over at that time. You remember Admar?
Yeah.
Came over. Admar Barbosa came over and he changed a load of things that I was doing. But then I remember we went to a training camp in Poland and there was a load of guys there who would have been really high level guys, European level, purple and brown belts, and a couple of guys who had qualified and competed at the ADCC that year. And there was about 100 lads on the mats and it was actually manky. It was one of the dirtiest.
That's where Ringworm came to Ireland from.
Oh, jeez, we brought your Ringworm in. There was lads sleeping on the mats and all. We were there for a week and the sweat would have been pooled on the mat afterwards and the lads would just hang the geese up, you know, lie down and go sleep on the crash mats. Well. No, they were judo mats. It was a beautiful judo facility. But it was a lovely facility. It was actually publicly owned. But I remember going out one day and I was much more technical than most of the lads in my group. I was a purple belt at the time. Yeah. I remember sweeping lads, one of my favourite sweeps, Leichy half guard sweep. And I went, hey, I've got this halfway through the air. And the guy just went boing and bounced back up and it was a scrap. And I went, these guys don't stay stuck, you know. I have to change that. I have to change that attitude in my place as well. But it was a big eye-opener for me that time. And obviously you had it was the opposite for you because you came back here and saw that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I wonder sometimes, not that you, I wonder though, and this is something I've spoken about with other lads before, I wonder, is it almost the other way around when you go to other places? Like we're talking about the US as like kind of a pinnacle of jiu-jitsu with Marcelo and whoever else is training over there, whether it's Solo or anybody else like that. But when I get lads going over to the States now, they talk about like going into gyms and training academies, and it's almost the opposite. So the Irish level is higher in terms of maybe not technicality and technique, but almost in aggression and competitiveness, and that there's a lot kind of not there's the McDojo thing, kind of, if you know what I mean. Not that level, but that maybe the level isn't as...
Yeah, but it's like there's so many gyms probably over there now that...
Yeah, it's
a lot of the how many black belts around the world have come over from karate or fucking taekwondo later on? Yeah. You know, not like us when we were in our 20s coming over.
Yeah,
some people coming over in their 40s, I guess.
It's a different scene, isn't it? It's a different vibe then. You'd be a bit harder to kind of impress upon your younger students as well, the importance of training a certain way when you're not really at a competitive level.
Imagine only starting jiu-jitsu now.
We've lots of lads starting jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but as a coach or as a...
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
It'd be tough, right?
Difficult. Yeah. I know that there's a lot of people as well use... it's like a string to their bow to have jiu-jitsu in their academy, as opposed to their focus. So they've gone and got their, maybe like a purple or brown or black belt even, they've got it as a business decision as opposed to getting it as a love of things. I was thinking about that the other day as well. People are saying to me, everybody's texting me about this whole coronavirus thing, and they're saying things like, oh, what could you do instead of jiu-jitsu in your academy? So since you can't do jiu-jitsu in your academy, and look, it's supposed to be 2 weeks now, but it's probably going to be more than that, right? So what else could you do? Would you think about doing this? Would you think about doing that? Would you think about doing like cardio stuff or strength and conditioning, all that kind of stuff? I said, no, it's not what I do. I don't want to do that. I don't want to. If I want to do that, I would have done that already. And I know there's loads of places like that who would we're doing fitness work and we're doing this and we're doing that. And it doesn't tickle me at all to do it.
Here, let's say if we're still here in 6 months, I'll be doing Zumba myself. Who gives a fuck?
You'll be having
booty shorts doing Zumba,
booty shorts and lycra.
But yeah, no, I'd be exactly the same. That was a big thing. Before I came home, I remember I right before I came home, I was online to you even, messaging you at some stage. And
stalking me, yeah.
I'd messaged you once, you prick.
I'd
met Foxy in Marcelo's. I'd met Liam. I think I'd met Fergal a couple of times.
Of course you met Fergal. Everybody meets Fergal.
So I was messaging a few people like that and asking, like, if I go home, will I be able to make this my job? Or and everybody was saying, no, not a chance.
Yeah,
you'll need to do MMA or you'll need to do fitness classes and you'll need to do all this.
How long was that? How long ago was
That's fucking 7 years ago now.
You probably couldn't have made it your job 7 years ago.
You did.
Yeah, well, you did, you poor bastard. But, like, do you know what, like, how different was it, though, to now?
Well, when I came home, so Foxy obviously is the founder of Royal Grafton Academy, but he had
Founding father.
founding grandfather.
The paterfamilias.
He had, I'd say, 5 students.
Yeah.
So that was my first night walking into a room that was fucking
Yeah.
Foxy and 4 other lads.
Was that up in the Spartan gym, was it?
Yeah, upstairs.
Yeah, it was tiny. Yeah, tiny little room.
Yeah, I fucking didn't know what to make of that night.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it. I know, when we were in, I've had 4 apprentices, 5. So we've gone from, it used to be Jujitsu gi night was the smallest night. Biggest night was no gi because the MMA guys and the grapplers were at that. And then the MMA classes were the biggest.
Really?
It's the next biggest after that. And then slowly over the years, maybe it's because my focus changed as well. I wasn't as committed to MMA as well.
Yeah.
So the focus changed a little bit over the years, and eventually then I looked around the map and went, sure, nobody does no-gi anymore. Nobody does. Well, people still did no-gi, but like nobody does MMA anymore, and everybody wants to do jiu-jitsu. Lads used to start with me with MMA, and in about a year's time, they'd be doing jiu-jitsu. So that's what they would like. They thought they wanted to be MMA fighters, and actually, in fact, they remembered they didn't like it, or they discovered they didn't like it. You know.
It's too hard.
7 years. 7 years you're back.
7 years March. 7 years now, yeah. This month.
Fucking hell.
It's a long
Yeah,
time.
it doesn't feel like that.
Flies in.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that long ago. But it really has changed. Like, so you were a purple belt when you came back. I was probably a purple
I was a
belt.
brown
too.
belt.
Were you?
Yeah.
Was I a purple belt or a brown
I
belt?
was a new brown belt.
What year? What's the year does that make it? 2013. No, I got my black belt in
Yeah, 2013.
14. I got my black belt 2014.
Yeah.
I can't believe that either. I'm 6 years of black belt this year.
I know, I'm fucking a couple of... Are you 6 years?
Yeah.
2 stripes?
Second stripe this year?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't got it yet.
Some stage.
Not according to the IBJJF though, because I only registered as a black belt last year with the IBJJF.
Even
Like a
if
fool.
But you can compete. You registered to compete?
Yeah.
So that's when you registered?
Yeah, 20. And they only count your years in
Really?
service. Yeah. So according to the IBJJF, I'm still like a no stripe black belt. Maybe I have a stripe this year. I don't know what that
What is
means.
it, every 3 years for the first 3? Could be chickens, they always fucking change it.
I think when I got my second stripe, it was 2016. So it was 2 years initially,
It was
but
your
now
first
it's
stripe.
3 years. Oh, my first stripe, sorry. And then now it's every 3 years.
Right.
So yeah, I'll be second stripe this year. Anyway,
Right.
I think I would have been. No, that's not right, is it? Because that wouldn't make any sense. No, sorry. It's every 3 years. I got my first stripe, I think, in 2017.
Right.
I think that's what I got, if I'm right. I think so, anyway. Yeah, but according to the IBJJF now. So if you're out there and you're a black belt, do register with the IBJJF as soon as you get your black belt, because you'll be like me. Haven't registered anything like that. I'm brutal with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't competing. I was still injured. I was still.
You're too old to compete.
I was too old and fat. And but like, do you remember? Like, you remember when we started training together? My neck used to go like every 6 months, like, and I'd be out of training for a month, and then I'd be back in and back out and back in and back out. So I never bothered. So I just never said it. I said no.
What do people know about your neck injury or issue? Are we going to edit this out?
No, I think it's okay. I think we'll talk about that. If you want, we can talk about my erectile dysfunction as well. we can have a good conversation. No, I had about 2010 maybe. I heard a pop in my neck during Thai boxing. Lads put my head down in the clinch. I was a little popping. Oh, that's sore. And then I got sore and sore over time, and then I was still fighting MMA at the time.
So it wasn't Jujitsu?
No, Jiu-Jitsu didn't do it to me. No,
Wasn't
Jiu-Jitsu probably
Sharon
did
Bowles?
do it to me, and I think over time that's probably what tipped it over the edge, you know.
Yeah.
But in my experience anyway, at least working with people with injuries are waiting to happen. So unless you get like hit by a car, or unless you get like hit by someone like bam side on your knee, impacts that's unavoidable. Most injuries that we get are ready to go. So you've programmed your body into a certain pattern of movement, and then something happens and you blame that event, but
Yeah.
actually it's been ready to go. And I think if like, especially when it came to the neck and stuff like that, if I think about it, it had been sore for a while. Like, and obviously do stupid things like like going for arm bars and bottom against massive heavyweight 120 kilo lads and stuff like that.
Shit.
Stupid, getting stacked. I remember one night being up, Andy's a student, black belt, Carl Roach. Carl was a bit thinner now, but like at the time he was probably 120, 130 kilos. And I'm triangling him, right? And I got him in the triangle, which was rare enough anyway. I lock my legs. The next thing he starts to stack, and I'm like this. The next thing, we're doing MMA. Next thing, something like hits me, boom, like here around the kind of my cheekbone. I said, "Why is that?" There's something really uncomfortable. It was my groin guard.
Oh fuck.
So you can imagine, it was like, what position must I be in? And I was flexible enough. I wasn't that bleeding flexible. So it was horrible. So doing stuff like that, like, I mean, that's ridiculous, like stupid shit. Like, so I got like over time, then I got a little bit weaker on my hand and stuff like that. I had to pull out of a fight and stuff. I remember throwing Paddy, my Thai boxing coach asked me for a double left hook, you know, so left of the body, left of the head, and I went left of the body, boom, and I went left of the head. Like a quarter of a second later, even I was a bit that, you know, I was that quick once, but like I went left of the body, and I went left of the head, and my hand went, and he went, and he laughed, and he goes, "Try that again, left of the body, left of the head," and I went, boom. I had no power on the second one, so I could do one, and I couldn't do the second one, and he was like, "I think you should get that neck shit checked out," and I went and. At the time it was the recession, so I went in and got my neck scanned and everything like that, and they said, "Okay, surgery," and I went, "No, can't do it. Can't take 3 months off. Literally, we'd lose the house. Like, you know, that was the way it was." So I said, "Right, I'll just soldier on," and I soldiered on for another 5-6 years actually with it, and just like trying to rehab it all the time. And I learned so much about trying to keep a neck in order and keep a neck strong and keep your back strong. By the time, even though like the nerve was impinged, and it's like what had happened to me was I had a bulging disc into the nerve channel, slightly into the spinal cord, but not quite. And the really bad ones go into the spinal cord, obviously, for obvious reasons. And what had happened as well is I was building like bone in the nerve channel all the time. What they call bone spurs. You've probably heard the term bone spurs. So there was spurs into the nerve channel all the time. So it was basically like a hose that was getting compressed and pinched, so you had no nerve, like you've no nerve conduction up and down from the spine to the hand. And over time I was losing strength of the triceps, so I was doing loads of stuff and all. Once the hose is pinched, it didn't matter, you know. And then one time I was cutting cheese at home, like just randomly cutting cheese. And I was like, "What the fuck is in the way of the knife?" And I went, "Oh, it's my thumb." I couldn't fit my thumb. And I went, "Okay, maybe today's the day. I'll go and get another MRI." So I did, and got in touch with Dan Healy, who does the MMA, and I went up to him anyway for other scans. And when he referred me on to a surgeon then, and I got it done in 2017? 2017, I think, 2017, February, so 3 years done now. They put a plate in, so I've got a scar there. They went in through there, they pushed your esophagus to the side, shaved out the disc, took the disc out, put a little plastic washer in instead of your disc, and a titanium plate at the front of the spinal column there. And I've met a few lads, it's like becomes a support group once you see the little scar. You go, "Hey, did you ever get ACDF surgery?" And it took about... I was back really fast. So then initially your man said,
I remember you were back training surprisingly fast.
I was back really, really quick. I gave myself 6 months to get back.
Yeah.
And I was back in 3. And it wasn't easy now, I have to say. I'm not patting myself in the back or anything like that, but I remember going, I was lying in the hospital bed on the February, right? I hadn't competed in a long time. I competed once, I think, or twice at brown belt. And I was lying in the hospital bed, and I signed up for the British Masters that year, the UK Masters in September, lying back on my back. I went, "No, I need a target." And I said, "If I get back, I don't care, you know, just something to go for." And I went back. I couldn't get out of the chair for like, you know, you're supposed to get up and walk around. I was in too much pain, and I was thinking, what a joke, going from tournament in 6 months' time. I'm not going to be even rolling in 6 months' time. And I was up and down. I remember the odd time you turn around and Emer turned around to me and go, "Well, how do you feel today?" I was like, "Look, there's no way I'm ever training again. There's no way. You can't train. Like, there's no way. How can I do it?" And I started looking up college courses online. I'm going to have to go and do something. I have to go teaching or something like that, you know. So I was looking up, like, I have a degree in history and English, but like I was looking at my HDip to go teaching. I was like, "This is what I'm going to have to do, you know, because I'm not going to be able to train." And then little green shoots, and then about 6 weeks in to the rehab, I said, making no progress, no less pain, nothing like that. We went back for my referral, and I was like, really miserable. I was going back, there's no way. This is going to be bad news. He's going to come in here and he's going to tell me, sorry mate, it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So he comes in, does an x-ray, he sits up and he goes, right, yeah, he's doing his notes. And he was judo black belt, Martin Murphy's name. And he was like, right, yeah, doing a couple notes. So back to training next week, little light movements, and I went, sorry, I don't think you understand. I can't walk. Like, I can't walk without pain. Like, it's hurting my neck. And he goes, yeah, but you need to get back to doing something. So go back. And I remember going, no way. There's no way, no possibility whatsoever. And but no, I went back and I followed it. I said, no, screw it. I'm going to go back. Went back lifting weights. I was back lifting weights before that, light weights. But I went back and I started to and slowly over time, it's just a matter of confidence really a lot of the time, I think, as well with the injury. And then within probably 3 months I was fully training. Still nervous of it and stuff like that, but within 3 months. So it's not a journey I'd recommend for anybody, but like...
But it's not the end of the world.
No.
No, and are you lucky of which...
C5.
Are you lucky where it was? If it was higher, would you have been...
Higher, I think it's worse, yeah. The higher it goes, the worse it is,
Yeah.
obviously. And then I think, and I'm not like saying, I think if you get it in the low back, like if you get it in the lumbar spine, I think it's more difficult to come back from.
Right.
Because your spine's always under load there. So I've got habits that I have to do to try and make sure my neck stays healthy. For example, sitting with the laptop and the computer, look at the phone, or like this, is not a good idea. I think it's based on what I know of lads coming back from the lumbar version of getting that kind of fusion. I think it's easier to come back from there because there's no constant walking around.
Yeah.
You can't.
Unless you have a big head.
I do have a big fucking head though. That's the only problem. There is a lot of weight in there,
So,
hanging off it.
Do you know what you're going to have to do? No. Just put that down. Put your sponsored bottle down. You're going to have to edit in a picture of Bas Rutten. You know Bas Rutten? Yeah. This is what he looks like. Look. Give the Bas Rutten look. Ka-ching. What does he say in the...
Dangity dang. You do not speak like that to my wife. Dang.
Yeah. I actually own that DVD somewhere.
The Selfdefense one?
Yeah, bought it.
In the bar.
I wish I got it.
I have it at home somewhere. It's up in the attic.
Yeah.
Also put that on YouTube.
Oh man.
Yeah, it has to be on YouTube.
I've got some mad jokes. I was looking at the stuff that I had originally. So when I started to learn Jiu-Jitsu, right, one of the things that I had was the Gracie. It was Heist. I think maybe Hoyler doing self-defense. It was the Gracie self-defense. I took a photo of it and I sent it to Fergal Quinlan. I went, look what I found in my attic. And it was rooting out a box of books and it's nearly pristine. I'd say I never read it. And I remember looking at buying it and going, there's all this gun defense and knife defense against the gun. The guy's like holding you here, alright, wrist lock and some bunch of stuff.
Or defense against a knife against your throat.
Yeah, it's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to give him my wallet. That's my self-defense talk in school. In schools, they go, I give them the usual talk. I do the thing about, the shortened version, right? So, there's nothing that you have of value that's greater than your life, and there's not even anything that's worth getting stabbed for that's in your pockets, and what if somebody comes up to you and I said, well, I'd hand them over whatever I had, and then after that, of course, if they still insisted on threatening you, then you have to take action, and what if somebody threatened you with a gun? And I say, take the cocaine out of your boot. Yeah. If they come up with you, you're probably a drug dealer. That's probably what you do. Consider your career choices. That's your next move. But not for Hoyler and Henner and all those guys. No. It's a different world on the States, right? You could probably get upheld up by